What's good with the YouTube? The convict's perspective right back at you. It's your boy Flaco.
Hey, what's up? It's me, Rojo.
And this is the third part of the series on Nuestra Familia. In this episode, we're going to be discussing the wreckage and damage the NF organization as a whole has caused in our communities.
Well, man, what I'd like to address first, man, is just when you become involved in any kind of criminal lifestyle, any kind of organization, more so the organization, even though than being just a regular criminal, because once you're in the organization, you become obligated to continue doing things. Whereas maybe on your own, you might not necessarily continue leading that life, that you've been leading out there. But man, once you become obligated, man, you're 24/7, asked to do things that, are going to be negative everywhere. Oh, I've seen gang violence destroy families, bro. Just because, not only because of the deaths and innocent bystanders and, wrong victims, whatever it might be, but the toll that being in prison takes on your family as well. If you're the one contributing income and, taking care of the bills and, you have children with these women, and you've been taking care of them, now you're gone for, anywhere from a few months to whatever. What are they going to do? You've been taking care of the casa for however long. Maybe CPS becomes involved because of your gang activities, or, you're selling dope out of your house. They kick your door in and find some stuff. And it starts, man. It's from the children all the way into your parents, man. It's devastating for everybody. The loss of life, the people on drugs, the drugs you're bringing into the community, and other people's families not even involved in the gang. It's the gang bringing in the drugs that's still at fault. They're going to get drugs anywhere, man, but you're still participating, and all the time being gone and house getting evicted because the bills can't be paid, and, bail and commissary money and collect call money, man, that puts a strain on everything. It's like everything associated. There's never no good. Yeah, you'll take care of the bills and provide luxuries for a while, but eventually that's going to come crashing down, man, and it's going to leave a big void. People, you're going hungry, the PG&E's getting cut off. It's just everywhere, and it's not just the gang members being affected, man. It's the families, the people who have nothing to do with it, man, who might be, having a barbecue and their 5-year-old gets hit with a stray shot, or a high-speed chase and somebody gets hit. There's no positives, man. It's everything about gangs is designed to be negative. There's no benefit for anybody. And I all the years that I participated in that, I always looked at it as like, well, if I don't sell this dope, they're going to get it somewhere else. And that's how I justified what I was doing. It's like, I'm not selling it to any minors. I'm like, I don't got a gun talking about you got to buy dope. But man, I've destroyed many families, man. Caused people to lose their jobs, caused people to get out and steal because they can't afford their habits. And just all aspects of gang life, from the violence to the crimes, they destroy communities, man. And especially like these gang-infested communities in like LA and in Salinas and, the real hotbeds of gang activity. Man, the destruction over the years has been catastrophic, man, with lives lost and years of incarceration and unnecessarily violence, man, that I can't believe, being as intelligent as I am, that I allowed myself to participate in this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally get it, man. The influence that the NF has had in these communities has been it's been terrible, bro. You know what I'm saying? Now that I think back of it, my whole mindset was it was the cost of doing business. But the principles that you try to instill in the young is that it's about the cause, the betterment of the people, the struggles to secure and educate and establish for our gente against all oppositions and foes. But the only struggles I see are the ones that are internal. If you look at all these communities that are going on out there, right, can you show me one scenario where the NF is contributing anything positive to that community besides destruction? Our main rackets for income is basically through drug dealing. That's our main source of income. We do escort service and prostitution. We do debt collecting through violence and physical force. Everything that we do in this and the NF has done, right? Not me. The NF has done in these communities has done nothing to benefit it. There's not one thing you could sit there and say, well, the NF took care of the community. NF stood behind the people.
Who was that said the NF, you never seen them do a toy drive? Was that you that said that?
I said that.
The toy drive, handing out turkeys, going to feed the homeless at Christmas. I mean, a lot of these other organizations, man, that also take their toll on the community, man, at least at the same time, some of them give back. You know what I'm saying? Like the HAs do their Toys for Tots thing. And there's other organizations that do the same thing, man. And I just can't remember anything positive ever being done, during my career personally.
We're feeding the gente dope.
Yeah.
We're feeding illicit activities. We're taking fathers out of homes. We're allowing our wives and girlfriends to be involved in these situations to where next thing you know, they're losing their kids. People are losing their jobs. They're catching more time. It's just, there's nothing positive from it. You know what I mean? For the youth out there, just look at the scenario. What has gangbang really affected you, but have some type of recognition? Where are you really benefiting financially? Even all the ballers that I knew out there in the streets that were really making money and that had any type of longevity were usually not affiliated as North Daniels, but maybe had loose alliances with people. But basically, like I said, the wreckage and damage the NF has done for years, killings.
See, where I was, in the wrong, that I can look back on, is instead of like telling my younger homies who looked up to me because they knew who I was and what I was, is I taught them better ways to sell dope and better ways to fence stolen stuff and better ways to take on the opposition. I didn't teach them better ways to become men. I didn't tell them, man, you should think about the military or you should think about that trade school or that apprenticeship in the union. I was telling them, hey, man, this is how you set up a dope operation, man. You establish a couple safe houses, man. You get legitimate people to move your stuff around for you. I was teaching them all the negatives, man. And I wasn't, myself, I'm guilty of it. I wasn't participating in anything positive when I was out there doing my thing.
Just think back of all the families that have been destroyed. And some of the hardest thing for us to think about it, right, is there's some people that they get involved in this life and they do it for 20, 30 years. And then they have nothing to show from it. And then when they turn for some support or some assistance, they can't even get it.
No, they're not getting anything.
Once you no longer can bring any type of money to the organization, you're no longer useful. Yeah.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did give back to some families, as I was directed by people above me. But, man, it was their direct families only. It wasn't that, the homeboy that got caught doing this or this and that. This was like, hey, Rojo, can you go take care of this PG&E bill for such and such? If you're not, man, really, really high up in that group, you're not going to get them same kind of things because, that was for a couple individuals where I've paid some PG&E bills and I've gone grocery shopping and clothes and school supply shopping, stuff like that, that was above and beyond what I was contributing, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, and that wasn't something voluntary that I did. That was, basically a request that was more than a request, if you get what I'm saying.
So, yeah, in this gang lifestyle that we have on the streets, you need a void to fill a need, right? And the need for the NF is to generate money. And the void for these communities is to be a part of something. And so, like you said in the previous segment, they're making thousands of dollars, man. Each one of these regiments or crews or whatever they have out there, and not just that, the money they got coming into the prisons, instead of reinvesting that thing into to putting people through school and businesses and the whole objectives that they have, you know what I'm saying? It seems like they're just trying to get as fat as they can until someone gets indicted. And then we keep, let's take care of our families, let's take care of this. And the whole cycle continues. I can't think of any type of heritage program or anything that's bringing any trade schools. There's no goals anymore for the betterment of the people. It's what brings money, period. Let's keep all these youngsters under one common theme. You're a North Daniel. This is what you do. This is your enemy. This is who you hate. Let's make money. That's the whole objective. And as long as you have those youngsters that are going to follow under this path, you're going to have the same destructions over and over again. You don't know how many times I got out there in the hood, right? Paroled and started slinging dope. And the first people I would look at to move my dope were the ones that were, I would find individuals that were moving a little bit of dope at a time. And what I would do is I would offer them something, okay? Instead of picking up an ounce every day, I'll drop you 4. I'll come back and see you 3-4 days later. I didn't care that you had a kid in your house. I didn't care that the cops kicked in your door and your kids got took. It was all about feeding my pocket, you know? And the same drugs that we're filtering out there. Also, this homeboy over here that used to be my good solid homeboy, 20 years old, now he's homeless on the streets. No job. No one's helping him out. He's acting like a J-Cat through the drugs that we basically distribute out there into those communities. And the violence, you know? You had a situation that happened in Modesto. Who was it? Joe Ramirez, Jarveso. They ended up doing a home invasion. Ended up killing a 12-year-old girl. I think she was 12 years old. So viewers on there, if you know different, please correct me if I'm wrong. Ended up killing a 12-year-old girl during a home invasion.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. The thing I used to do mostly was when I would try to, trick people into doing things for me, I'd focus on people who never been in trouble. So it's like, hey, can you get any more messed up is trying to get somebody that's never been in this lifestyle, like potentially a new case, and mess up their life versus somebody else that doesn't even really care. And, and it's, I'd go for the least problematic person on my payroll just because I know they're not subject to the search and seizure. They're going to be a little more, intimidated by who I am and who I associate with than, somebody who's a hardcore, been around the block, I've been banging already, it ain't all that to me kind of person. And, I was taking them raw and molding them into being, criminally active.
Yeah, most definitely. So let me ask you this question, right? Do you think out there in the streets that at times we get so caught up in the obligations that we have towards the organization that we start to self-justify and spin our story that what we're doing is for a bigger purpose, but deep down we know the damage that we're causing?
To be honest, man, even though, when I walked away, I kind of had an idea. It took me a lot of years to figure out exactly where I was going wrong and the whole mirage that exists in that life. It's like, you're presented this noble case about this and that and this and that, and it's mostly all positive, until you get to the real top. And then you get a better understanding of what it is. And I was pretty young and impressionable, and I thought that, I was doing the right thing. I wanted to be with this movement. But, as I've got older and I got kids and, I don't want to see my kids do things like that. It's like, bro, I was out there just not giving a damn about nobody but me and fulfilling my obligation. And it's just that's no way that society is going to continue to improve in any form or fashion if there's people like that. That's their goal, is to man, it's not their goal. Okay, it's not their goal, but what they're doing is purely messing up things for not only themselves but everyone else to benefit a misleading cause.
Most definitely. That causes only one purpose, and that's monetary purposes.
Yeah.
So what do you think the biggest damage that the NF is doing to the community overall, the biggest wreckage that you see? Do you think I think it's taking a lot of these fathers out these homes.
Yeah, that and drugs.
Drugs.
Lack of the father.
No role models. Yeah. You don't, very often, you see the same story over and over again. Homeboy goes in, gets locked up for 4 years, gets a little education, becomes a bro, feels important that he's something, right? Just, decides that he's going to function with a regiment, right? Gets out there, plugs in with a C that's in charge of that regiment, gets put on a crew, starts smoking dope, starts doing all he can to make that little bit of money he can to pay his monthly each week and meet his quota. Yet the whole time, he's dope fiended it out. I know this because I used to have soldiers working right under me that were doing the same damn thing. And I did not care. I knew that for as long as I used them, they were expendable. And I was going to get the most out of them as I could. Even if they were high, as long as they were bringing me money, I didn't care about what was going on with their kids at home. I didn't care what was going on with their wife. I didn't care that he could barely pay the bills. I didn't get care that he was absconding already after doing 6-7 years. You know, then as soon as they get locked up, hey, it's the cost of doing business. That's the mentality that these organizations have. They're taking men out of the homes. They should go out there and get a job, be a positive role model. We're not role models. That's the biggest wreckage the NF is doing in these communities with these Norteño gang members that are coming out, that want to plug in with a regiment, that want to have that recognition, that want to have that ego. Instead of sitting there and saying things positive to the kids out there, like, hey, go to school, stay away from gangs, do something positive, get a job, take care of your family. No. The first question is, hey, can you move some dope? Would you like to? What's the famous word that they used to ask the homies out there? Would you like to assist?
Yeah, assist.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Even the word sounds like you're being helpful.
You're assisting the regiment. Yeah. Would you like to assist the homies? You can get all the perks and everything that we got. Then as soon as you're locked up, you know what I mean? You get debt collect. Hey, so what? Oh, that's a little bit of money for our pocket.
Yeah, you can assist some more in here by removing that dude and risking getting an attempted murder. There's some more assisting for you. But hey, like you were saying, is you're taking people out of the community and you're only caring about yourself. But at the same time, man, you're not even caring about your own family, man, because you know the consequences of potentially getting caught up. You know there's always that big RICO at the end of it, you know, and even on a smaller scale, criminal participation in the street terrorist organization, or whatever they call it now. So, I mean, you know that this is eventually going to happen. You can kid yourself and think, you know, you're smarter than the cops, or nobody's going to tell on you because you treat people cool, or, you know, however you might justify it to yourselves. But at the end of the day, man, if you've been around for a minute, you know what's going to happen in the end. There's not going to be a good story. And if you cared so much about your family as you like to, you know, I'm taking care of me and mine. Okay. Yeah. What you're doing is temporary. You know, you're not long-term thinking, man. Long-term thinking is job, 401k, medical benefits, not everyday living a risk that's going to destroy your family. That's not taking care of your family, no matter what you say, how you justify it.
And it seems like those that do come out, right, and try to promote a different voice, whether they're dropouts or something like that, these youngsters are being told it's poison.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what is poison? Tell me this, listeners. What is poison about getting a job, taking care of your family, not putting yourself in uncompromised situations to where you could jeopardize yourself or your family? Where is anything not honorable in that? Whereas opposed to other stuff that being promoted that people are doing, you know what I'm saying? That's the poison. Hey, sell some dope. Hey, find us someone who runs credit cards. Hey, find us some girls that we can pimp out. You know, where is any honor in that?
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't benefit anybody but your own pockets and that of the people above you. You know, and all that's temporary, and everybody knows it's temporary, from the very top of the chain of command all the way to the person doing it. Man, you know, man, you can't sell dope forever. Man, you're gonna make a mistake. Somebody's gonna snitch. The cops are gonna get lucky. You know, if you're robbing stuff, man, you might get away with 4, 5, 20. You might do it for 10 years. If you keep doing the same thing that you're not supposed to do, they're gonna get you. I mean, how many people do you think have, like, they've been a perfect bank robber? They're like, oh, I robbed banks from the time I was 18 until I was 70. It doesn't happen. It ends in you're gonna get killed or you're gonna go to prison. Like, there's anything you do illegally has a shelf life, you know, and I know it. You listeners out there, you guys know it, man. Any of you guys sold dope out there, man, it only takes one left turn to go in front of that. You cut that dude off that's undercover cop. Whatever the fluke chance might be, it's coming to an end quick.
We're taking orders from people who've been at the system since the 70s and 80s. You know what I mean?
Out of touch with reality.
Out of touch with reality. You know what I mean? They could have been that good of criminals, otherwise they wouldn't have got caught.
Or you can't fist fight in the Walmart parking lot right now without 7 cameras being on you and then 3 or 4 citizens recording you also. You know, it's getting harder every year to get away with crimes, man, with the DNA stuff. Man, they didn't have DNA back then. You know, all they had was fingerprints. They didn't have cameras. They didn't have audio. They didn't have none of that stuff unless it was like some super elaborate sting. You know what I mean? Back in the days, you could do, man, it was the Wild West. Nowadays, there's so much forensics and stuff, man, that you don't stand a chance to do. Man, you could touch a doorknob, dude, and leave a skin cell, and that's enough DNA to match to yourself, man. So there's no future in it, man. You're gonna go to jail.
So that's a big thing too. I just think about innocent influence on the streets. In my time back in the 80s and 90s, right, in the streets as a kid, my hood was way more important than North Day or even the NF.
Yeah.
Nowadays, being a homeboy, a North Daniel, associated with the NF, outweighs even your neighborhood. That's how much influence the NF has had on these streets nowadays, with only one agenda, you know? And everybody's under, like we said numerous times, everybody's under that umbrella, you know what I'm saying, and the same results. And all you got to do is take a step back. Listeners out here that are listening to our interviews and our conversations and our dialogues, take back and look at the proofs in the pudding. Look at all the different cases. Hoods are getting indicted. Cases are occurring over and over again. This person's dropping out. This person's dropping out. And you really want to be a part of this? You know, part of our message that we're trying to promote is, hey, deter you from making the same mistakes that some of us made. Fortunately for some of us, we got away from that lifestyle before it totally wrecked us. But at the same time, we can see the damage that we did partake in these communities. I moved a lot of dope at one time, you know, anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds of meth a week. 5 pounds was a slow week. There was times where I was with one of my ex-old ladies. We're counting money. She's all, how much do we owe? I'm like, 38 racks. You know, 2 days later, have it all. That's how much dope. But you don't realize how indirectly you're affecting thousands of other lives.
Think about how many 8 balls are in a pound. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, or 16s, you know?
Even our involvement in prostitution and escort business, you know what I mean? We're taking women who are at their weakest points. A lot of them are on drugs. Let's keep it real. Because I know we used to keep them high to do what they needed to do sometimes. You know, we're thriving on any spoils that we can in these communities. And our excuse that we spin this story is, well, someone got to benefit from it. Why not it be us?
Let it benefit the cause.
Let it benefit the cause.
Because we want more money.
Exactly. You know,
and we don't want to work for it.
No. You know, so you just got to sit there and just take a look back. You know, everything we said, you know, pull it up online. Indictment. Look up that B&L list. This person told, this person flipped, this person walked away. That same big homie that's running your regiment out there on the streets, that you're kicking in $200 just to be somebody, 2 years from now, he's probably going to be on a B&L or in a courtroom testifying.
Yeah, no doubt. If you had a master B&L list of everybody, you would have a whole college notebook, 5 lines per line, filled. And you know how many success stories it would add up to? A couple pages.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, you know, like I said, this whole topic we're trying to look at is the wreckage and damage. And I think it's the influence on the streets, you know?
Let's be honest, man. How much do you think being a gang member, especially with one of the 2 major, you know, Latino-based organizations, what kind of chance do you have of making it through life without getting a bid or dying? 0. You know what I mean? If you're going to be banging with one of these gangs, you know, coming out of prison, functioning, it's, you're not, if you keep doing it, you're not going without, there's going to be repercussions, period.
Yeah. But some people's ego gets in the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I, you know, the moment I stopped caring what others would think about me was the moment I got over me living, you know what I mean? Over me walking away and doing what I did, you know what I mean? It is what it is. At the end of the day, I did what was best for me. You know, like everybody else does for them, you know? And what ends up happening is you have all these internal politics being played and campaigning against each other and, you know, reporting on, I mean, most of the time homies are snitching on each other. And I don't mean snitching to the police. I mean, they're writing reports on each other. Yeah. Just because they have a personal conflict or ego, and whoever has more rank or benefit than the other person is the one that's going to come out in the long run. Those are facts.
I used to get told on all the time for sleeping during the day. They come by and see me knocked out. They be mad because they weren't knocked out.
What kind of example you said?
Hey, you know, I guess not a good one, but I mean, anyways, it is what it is.
Anyways, we just kept this topic. This was just to give you a little bit of outline about the wreckage and damage. I'm gonna let Rojo elaborate and close this out a little bit.
Yeah, well, so ladies and gentlemen, those of you who've been in the life, you know, hopefully got away from the life, or those of you guys still in it, I'm gonna tell you, man, from years and years of experience, there's nothing good that comes from anything that, you know, you're involved in. You know, you could go to work, you can support your family, you could do things like we were saying earlier, 99%. Let's call it 90%, man. 90% of the rest of society is doing. They're getting up. They're going to work. They're paying bills. They're building their credit. They're buying their first home. You know what I mean? If you're not doing those things, it's you that's the problem. It's not anybody else's fault but your own, because you have you've been taught, you know what's right and wrong, and you have the skills to go out there and make sure you can do the right thing, period.
And if you're in that 90% and you're contributing to the organization, you're wasting your money.
You're going to go down with them.
All right, YouTube, you guys all have a good one, man. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit the like and subscribe. More fire content coming.
Have a good day, ladies and gentlemen.